Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Public Review Session for July 10th, 2017. We'll begin with a special order calendar, continued hearing items. Item number 1, 22813BZ, 157 Columbus Avenue, Manhattan.
Okay, we received, as we requested, proof that notice of hearing was posted in the lobby and around the area and was sent to the condo board's representative. So if people have issues, we didn't get anything from any written testimony, but maybe people will be, I don't know. At least people know about it.
Okay.
Yeah, extensive notice.
Yeah, very plastered, yeah, definitely.
New cases, item number 2, 16304BZ, 67199 Fulton Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this one we need to reopen to consider an extension of term before we looked at an extension of time to obtain a C of O. They did submit some materials where they submitted what they claimed was a TCO, but it's actually not a TCO. It's an application for a TCO that was approved. So I didn't see a TCO actually there. Also, at the prior hearings that had to do with the extension of time to obtain a C of O, they talked about what was holding up getting the C of O finally, which was the backflow preventer. So I'd like to know what the status of that is, and if there are any other issues that, other than the BSA approvals that are holding up obtaining the C of O. The final.
Zoning calendar, decision items, item number 3, 13415BZ, 248 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, we're waiting for this affidavit from the fire alarm installer and the architect that states that the fire alarm has been installed per plan and is functioning per code. I understand some kind of an affidavit was submitted, but it was defective, so needs to be corrected.
And the fire department has to okay it.
Yeah, correct. But the fire department stated at the last hearing that if they had that affidavit from the installer and the architect, they'd be okay. Okay.
Item number 4, 27, I'm sorry, did anybody say it? Can I go? 2017-35BZ, 580 Columbus Avenue, Manhattan.
Okay, we received proof of notice of hearing to officials, and I understood there was supposed to be a community board vote, but we didn't get anything. So from the last hearing in March, it says the community board met but didn't issue their recommendation. I don't know whether we're supposed to be getting anything in writing from them.
Yeah, I'll check that. I know they're supposed to meet. Continued hearing items, item number 5, 2016-4167BZ, 4180 Ocean Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay. The applicant revised the site plans to show the decimals that match the survey. They actually take it out to one more point than the survey. I'm not sure how they do that, actually. The Appendix G substantial improvement calculations were revised, and cost estimates from 2 contractors provided that show the work will be less than 50% of the home value based on the most recent final assessment roll, which was how they were instructed to do that calculation by the DOB flood administrator. The existing areas located below FRCE are shown now as being water-resistant construction, and they're specific in what they mean by that. And the existing first floor is at FRCE, and the raised planter height was dimensioned as requested, and they provided a simple streetscape rendering, which we asked them to do, which shows the house generally is similar in massing to the immediately adjacent neighbor. It's not as complex of a massing, but size-wise, generally, it's just about the same. Anybody else on that? Okay.
New cases, zoning calendar, item number 1, 2017-29BZ, 2570 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, we have, as this is a new hearing, again, I talk about proof of service, so we have proof of service of the application to officials. and proof of notice of hearing to officials and affected property owners. Community Board 18 recommended approval. I was looking at the kind of open environmental issues, and there was a comment from the waterfront resiliency manager requesting a flood elevation worksheet, which I didn't see anywhere in the materials. Okay, good. So, and are there any other open, there's a phase 2, did DEP review the phase 2?
We're talking to them about a possible E-designation in lieu of a phase 2.
Okay,
Yeah, we're waiting to hear back on that.
okay. So we still have open DEP issues,
Yeah.
in other words? Okay. Okay. The parking study that was done for this parking reduction is based on their existing establishment, the existing furniture store located about a block from the proposed location, where 29 spaces are provided for approximately 25,000 square feet of showroom. The study, which measured weekday and weekend utilization in June, was adjusted to reflect a heavier utilization rate in November, and showed that in November, only 22 spaces would be occupied at peak times. And then that utilization rate was applied to the proposed project, which results in peak demand for the furniture store of 38 spaces, plus the 37 required for the retail, which can't be reduced by special permit. So that's 75 spaces required for demand with 110 provided, so there's a good buffer there. The statement of facts, though, says 49, and that whenever the statement of facts doesn't match, then I'm like, okay, what did the old study say? And so the old EAS from March 27th shows there would be a demand of 49 spaces. So I don't understand what the difference is between that study and the other one. When I did the math based on the factor that they came up with, I came out with 38 spaces. So maybe there was a mistake in the math, or maybe there was a change in the factor. So I don't know. And also I wanted to know, they don't show us anything about how they're going to shield the parking from the pedestrians. It doesn't, because the parking's open. So there's no provision for fencing or planting around the parking area, nothing. Anybody else?
I just wanted to make sure that the applicant has gone through all the documents that have been provided, because there is inconsistency in the numbers in terms of the proposed spaces as shown in the drawings and within the within the statement of findings, zoning sheet, they don't correspond. And also I'm not sure why DOB document cites in its objection sheet of 144 spaces as opposed to when the parking count is showing much less. So there's a lot of inconsistency, just needs to make sure all of them are tied together. I thought the traffic analysis was very helpful, given that the site is right across, the existing site is right across, and the flow of traffic is very similar, no different. So that was a good use of the existing data to kind of determine the proposed use. So I was satisfied with that.
Right. So it's not a check whether applicant has gone through. Applicant has to go through because it's inconsistent, right? Okay.
And just to clarify that, I think when you're exiting onto Flatbush, you must make a right-hand turn, which sends you way down Flatbush. I mean, not towards Brooklyn. So
Right.
if
Those
that's
are just
the
the
planned-
documents that,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, so there's an error that says...
No, I don't think it's an error. It's just, I did it myself. So it's like, you really have to go pretty far down because you can't make U-turns. So if you came from Brooklyn, you'll have to almost go down to like the golf course and go into the golf course to make a U-turn or something.
I think most of the
In
turns,
terms of, if the entrance was on Flatbush and the exit was on Avenue V, I thought it would be easier to negotiate going back to, say, Brooklyn, if you were going.
Right.
So you're suggesting the flow might be backwards?
Oh, yeah.
well, they have a cut on Avenue V and on Hendrickson. So,
But the Hendrickson cut is only for the trucks.
Yeah.
only for the trucks, that is
Right.
true. So Avenue V becomes the primary one to enter and exit, and then...
Well, just to enter. I think that's the way they stated it.
Yeah. So either make it a two-way flow, which might not work. I don't know if it works.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't work. It's all controlled automatically, no? I don't know if it's controlled automatically. They said they're going to have some sort of a mechanism to maintain only patrons of the store using it. How they do that, I don't know.
Actually, there's a lot of parking on Hendrickson, angle
Yeah.
parking, which is
Right.
not utilized right now. There's a lot, when I was there
Yeah.
were very few cars.
Right.
And this whole project will, I mean, the site is currently a pretty bad eyesore.
So it's an improvement
Yes.
based over that. Okay. Okay, so they should bring their parking consultant, so we can talk about the flow and of the parking entrance and exit. Okay.
Move on. Item number 2, 2017-57BZ, 18-20 Bergen Street, Brooklyn.
Again, it's a new hearing, so we have proof of service of application to officials and notice of hearing to officials and neighbors. Community Board 2 recommended approval. We also have a DOT school safety sign-off. There are some internally inconsistent information in the floor area on the statement of facts that needs to be corrected. It says one thing at the beginning and another thing towards the end. With respect to programming, I see that the meeting room has gotten smaller. So I'd like to understand how that works with the needs of the school and assembly of all the children. It's smaller than what it currently is. Capacity is exactly the current school enrollment and doesn't allow for adults or student population to increase. And the way I understood the programming was that they wanted to actually be able to bring all the kids into one room, and now they've reduced the size of the room, so I don't understand that. It also seems to me like an inordinate amount of space is given over to administration,
Yes.
with 3 offices at the first floor and an entire administrative floor at the second. Wondering whether the first floor offices be used for some kind of viable classroom or gathering room or something. I see how they had a problem with that column in the existing meeting room, so they couldn't figure out sort of what to do with that area, because there's this column. You know, arguably, you could get rid of the column maybe and put in a piece of steel, I mean, I don't know. But, and also, the drawings don't show any treatment of the sidewall, so that really, any kind of architectural, so as the building rises, there's a place where the sidewall, it gets exposed, and it doesn't seem, they don't show how it's being treated, it's just sort of an ignored wall. Otherwise, I didn't really have any comments, I thought it was rather straightforward.
I had some question, and I think that could be clarified in the statement. I believe there's an existing play area on the roof of 20 Bergen. I would like the statement to clarify the programmatic need of the use of that play area currently, and how it would continue to serve with, and therefore the need for an additional gym in the subcellar. So that needs to be tied together. Because the structure on the roof is quite substantial, so if it's being utilized quite a bit, that has not been documented in the statement. And also, again, some of the numbers are not consistent between the statement of facts and the plans with regards to lot coverage, and the street width of Bergen Street is inconsistent throughout the documents, or those kind of things, just minor edits.
But minor, but should be corrected.
Should be
because
corrected,
we
yes.
often, then it shows up in the resolution, and then it's the wrong number.
Agree.
I found the same thing with the street wall height, that the zoning analysis shows us that it's 60 feet, and on 2 of the plans, E3 and P3, the north arrow is incorrect. And I was concerned about the rear wall at the property line, because the residential building to the rear, I think, only has a 10-foot rear yard, so I was, what is the rear wall going to look like? It's not over 23 feet in height, and that's not even really the area where the balcony is, the mezzanine is.
Right.
But I just, that it looked
Well, how is it going to
appropriate.
be treated? How does it relate to the neighbors?
Right.
Okay. All right. I think that's it.
That's it.
And I don't know if Commissioner
She
Otley Brown
emailed me,
had
she
comments.
did not have any major questions
Okay.
about anything on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Done?
All right.
This
Thanks.
concludes the public review session for July 10, 2017. You want to talk to Brian?
Well, that's the thing, it's a shame